Hello, and welcome to the first video in the series on fascia and the nervous system. I'm Christine Wuschke. My background is in massage therapy. I'm a massage therapist, and I specialize in myofascial release. So for this video, I'm going to walk you through a series of regulating movements that are really helpful for both tracking your nervous system and getting to know your nervous system. You can do this seated if you'd prefer to sit. You can be seated in a chair if that's what's comfortable for you. If you like to stand, you can also do this standing. And I'll maybe demonstrate it standing, but know that you can choose yourself to do this in a chair or sitting on the floor. And the first movement, if you're standing, you're going to find a really comfortable distance to place your feet where you feel, if you kind of wiggle back and forth, you'll maybe notice a felt sense of stability. If your feet are maybe too wide, it might not feel quite comfortable. And if they're too close together, you might feel not quite stable. So we're trying to find a really good distance to have our feet for stability. If you're in your chair, your focus will be more on your upper body, but you can really feel your feet in the ground. And that's where we're going to start, no matter which posture you're in, to see if you can place your feet on the ground and maybe even roll back and forth so that you can really feel the contact of the bottom of your foot with the ground. You might even feel, if this resonates for you, that you're sinking into the ground a little bit with your feet. If you're a visual person, you could imagine that you're standing in a forest or standing on really soft ground, and maybe even feel as though your feet are sinking in to the ground. And then very slowly begin to let your body rock side to side. So you'll put your weight a little bit more into one foot and then a little bit more into the other so that you're moving into a really gentle sway. And we'll be staying with this movement for about a minute. Of course, if you feel uncomfortable with that, you can bite-size it. You can go for 30 seconds or so instead and then just wait. But the idea is that we want to do one simple movement and stick with it long enough so that we can explore the impact that it's having on our nervous system. Your eyes can be opened or closed, whatever's most comfortable for you. And you can also speed up this movement or slow it down based on what feels intuitively right in your body. You may want to explore with taking the feet at a little bit of a different distance and changing the pace of your sway, versus maybe bringing the feet closer together and going slower, or feet a little wider and going a little faster. And after about a minute or so, you'll probably have intuitively discovered what's the best distance to place your feet, as well as what's the best pace for you to sway. And once you've explored that and discovered your kind of stable stance and your comfortable pace, I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness inside your body, and particularly in the torso area, sort of belly, chest area. And see if you can notice any qualities that are emerging all on their own as you do this movement. Most commonly, the words that people will share with a practice like this will be things like calming, soothing, centering. But the most important thing is that you find the description of the qualities that are coming up in your body in your own words. So take a moment to notice what types of qualities emerge from your body, from deep within your body, as you hang out with this really gentle, simple movement. And you might notice that it changes. You might go faster, or you might go slower. You might gear up and gear down, and all of that is great. It's really good to be intuitive with this practice. And then you can let that slow down and come to a stop in your own time. And then from here, we want to see if we can notice the response, again, particularly in that belly chest area of the body. How does your body respond to a really simple movement practice? What I call a regulating movement practice. You may notice changes in your breath, but in particular, we're looking for things like calm, maybe things slowed down. And once you've come up with a word or two, a descriptive word or two for a quality that's emerged, what we're going to do is take that into a little bit of a mindfulness practice. You can continue to do this standing, or you can move to sitting on the floor or in a chair. Eyes can be opened or closed. It's really up to you. And then for this next part, what we want to do is repeat the word in your mind that you just kind of named. So for me, it was calming and centering. So once you're seated and you're comfortable, you're going to repeat those words to yourself. And the idea with this step of the exercise is that we're deepening into that quality. So repeating the word to yourself over and over, and as you say that word, see if you can drop into the experience of that quality and really feel what it's like in your body. What do you notice in feeling calm or connected or soothed or centered? The idea is that we're steeping in that particular quality as though allowing our state of being to kind of center and anchor and marinate into that particular quality. And just if this resonates for you, you can check and see, does that quality have a color to it or a texture to it? Yeah, as you feel into that quality, does it change your breath pattern in any way? And so this practice that we're doing in this video is the idea is that we're starting to get to know the nervous system state known as the ventral vagal state. This is part of our social engagement nervous system, and it's the state that it's the state where we're most likely, or where it's the easiest to enter into a state of connection, relationality. It's where we can kind of easily be relational. And it's also the state that we tend to have emergent properties of those qualities that I was naming a few minutes ago, where what tends to arise from that state are qualities like feeling connected, feeling a sense of calm or soothed. We often access there's often other emergent properties too, like maybe we can get a bit more curious about our body, or maybe we get a little bit creative, and that's the mode that we're in when we're most creative or inspired. Those are just some examples. So I really invite you between now and the next video to play with this practice a little bit more on your own. And so again, the steps would be that we would go into a regulating type of movement, which is really just to say something that's very simple, something very kind of benign or basic, and then we repeat it. It's something that we want to get into a rhythm with and repeat it over and over and over for about a minute to even up to 5 minutes. And then as we're doing that repetitive movement, we're going to start to notice what arises all by itself. So what kind of spontaneously bubbles up from inside your body as or as a felt experience. And then we'll name those qualities and go a little bit deeper into them with the seated practice. And I'd love to hear from you in what you find. Let me know in an email, or hopefully you can take the course and join some of the live sessions so that we can also break down a little bit of the science behind what is happening and why. So again, I'm Christine, and this is Fascia and the Nervous System, and I really hope that you enjoyed this little practice.